Hi there, it's Linzi Upton the Quilt Quine, and today with Q-matic we're going to be looking at lettering. I'm going to try and keep it simple. I'm sure it's not the only way of doing things, but this is what has worked for me. We're going to have to use art and stitch to set up the lettering that we want on our quilted project. You do have some access to alphabets within art and stitch. If you go to the library and you look for quilt alphabet and text, there are these choices. I didn't find them particularly user-friendly. It's far easier to do a word if the writing is in script. And I got this alphabet from Betty Stoltenberg, who very kindly sent it to me to try out. And she's designed it so that the stop-start points are all on the same line and the eyes have got their little dots joined onto the letters. So it should be an awful lot easier to connect together. So I opened up the file that she sent me with the whole alphabet, and then I selected the letters that I wanted and I duplicated them. So I made them have a box around them, and then I would duplicate them and drag them down into a space. So when I've done that, I will just get rid of the other letters. Right, I'm just left with my one word of hello, which I chose deliberately because it didn't have any crossings or dots. I'm going to draw a baseline just so that everything can be really neatly placed. So there we go, just 2 points to draw a line. Okay. And then I shall drag the letters up onto the line so that we can see if they're sitting nicely. I'm just going to place them near each other for now. I'm going to make them bigger so I can see what I'm doing. All right, so there's my H, and I'm going to put its leg right on the line. And there's my E, and I think I want to put the base of it right on the line. As you can see, they've got these tails, and I'm going to try and join them up neatly. So I could join them up there, or I could join them here, but I'll go about there. So I want that tail to join onto that tail. That selected letter E, I want to use the reshape tool. Now I can click the end point with my mouse, and I can press the letter T on my keyboard until it flickers like that and it's joining onto that H. I let go, it's joined on. I'll need to move the L over a bit because it's a bit far away now. So I don't want it in the reshape mode. I want it like that. Have the bottom of the L down there. Now I need to be in reshape. Grab the little green node with my mouse. I'm going to press the letter T on my keyboard, press it down. Now that it's flashing, I'll join it up. There might be a slight kink there, but I can fix that in a minute. So I'll need to go to the next L, and I don't want it pink yet. I want it black so that I can move it. I might just move the O while I'm at it. In fact, as I'm over here, perhaps I'll just join that O to that L. So I'm going to get that with my mouse, press my mouse down, press the letter T down, and it's joined on. If I don't like that join, I can change it in a minute. And finally, I need to join that one to that one. Now that's a better join. I need to select it all, and then I'm going to actually merge it so that it's one thing. Then I can go in and just adjust the nodes a little bit so they're smoother. That one was a bit weird. So you just drag them until you're happy with the position. That L seems to have dropped below the line. I should have kept a closer eye on that, but I don't mind it. You might find that getting the letters to join together neatly with the mouse and the T for tie button on the keyboard takes a little practice. So just give it some time and decide where you want those loops to go. Let's just show you once more. So I'm going to move the O over, so the bottom of it is on the line. I'm going to have the tails overlap, and then when I go into the reshape tool, There's the little green end. I'll click that with my mouse. I'll press the T for tie, and when I get a little flash, I'll let go, and it's joined it up quite nicely. It's just a matter of practice, and you can fiddle about at your leisure. Once you're reasonably happy with the shape of the letters, you can assign stitches. I'm just going to send it to Q-matic. Here it is in blue amongst all my other words. So I shall put it up there, and I want to see how it's going to stitch out. Put it within the safe area, so I'm going to ask it to start at the start point. There are plenty of ways of doing lettering in Art and Stitch, so now we're just going to have a little look at what happens if we go into text. So I need to change my text to something simple. Let's just type in hello, and at the moment it's simply in Arial, so we'll say OK to that. There it is. I'm going to make it bigger, and I'm going to move it onto this solid blue line. Now, this is currently full of satin stitch. So if I go over to Properties and Artwork, I'm going to uncheck the Fill and Apply. And then I just have outlines. I can apply stitches to this, and it will just sew out as individual letters with some jump stitches. So let's do that. And as you can see, there are several places where it's going to stop and start. That's not too bad. The other thing that I am able to do in here, if I want to, is give it a double run of stitches, and then it will stitch round the word twice. So that's one possibility. So we could send that to Q-matic, and there's our block capitals hello here. So I've deleted my capital letters hello, and I'm going to look for something that's more like a script. So we'll keep the same word, but I'm going to choose a different font. And I think we'll go for this quite cute one. It's called Pretty Girls Script. I'll make it quite big. Right, it's quite large at the moment. So if I want to see less of it, I'll just shrink the view. And as I did before, I'm going to go Properties, Artwork, remove the fill, and now it is just outlines. So we've got a box around it, which means I can do things to it if I right-click my mouse button. So what I'm going to do is simplify and smoothen. It just smooths out some of the bumps. Now I could get Q-matic to stitch that with all of the little overlaps, and we can have a look at what that would be like if we assign some stitches and we simulate the sewing. You will see that there are quite a lot of jumps in here. It looks quite nice, but I don't know that I'd want to deal with all of those jump stitches. Put it back to Artwork. I'm going to try to remove some of the overlaps in these letters. So I've got a box around my word, and if I right click, I shall go to Merge. After I've done that, I can go into the Reshape tool, and I can see that I've got lots of nodes here. So if we go into a closer up view, what we might be able to do is to remove some of the overlapping points. Let's have a go. It's quite a time-consuming process. You will delete some of the points with the right click of your mouse. You have to be careful because that can happen. But then what you can do is just stretch them carefully back into shape. It depends how much time you want to spend on the project. You can add further points in to make it just a little bit more bendy. That's up to you. Okay, sometime later, I have removed some of the points that were overlapping, wriggled a couple around. If it doesn't go quite according to plan, you have an undo tool, which should help. So let's have a look at it now. So we've got one or two slightly wobbly lines, but if I had more patience, I could sort those out. Okay, why don't we assign some stitches? There are now 6 jump stitches, but we could see how it looks when it's quilted out. So we'll send that on to Q-matic as well. How about getting capital letters to see if they can join together a little bit better? We need to type hello in capital letters this time. Choose a different font. And I'm going for this one called Roundo. Now, first of all, I need to remove the satin stitch. So that's Properties, Artwork, uncheck the fill, apply. So now that they are just open letters. I can highlight each individual letter and just pull it down until it sits on one of these grid lines. I can move this one too. When it hits that grid line, the blue line goes yellow, so that's how I can tell it's right on it. And I'm actually going to slide this letter right on top of the previous letter, and now it's kind of gone, and now it has a red line. Hopefully it's right on it. Here's the L, absolutely on the bottom. I can either overlap, or I can just get the red bits to touch. We'll see. The O is trickier. Next, I'm going to merge them. There are some fun things that you can do once you've got your word sorted out. If you right-click, you can go to Design on Path, and you can choose a circle or a curve. And you can then get the word to repeat itself if you want to. You can even have a look to see how this would look as a edge to edge. So I might just choose that. So let's assign it some stitches. There will be some joins between the words by the look of things, but we'll send it to Q-matic just to see. You might be wondering where you can go and find more interesting scripts than the ones that just come with your computer and your keyboard. Usually they are functional and non-exciting things like Arial or Times New Roman or something like that. But you can go and get fancy ones from font sources, and I'll try and show you how you can do that. Okay, so you'll need to be using the internet, which you might want to do on a separate laptop. And you need to go to a website such as dafont.com. And then you have multiple choices of all sorts of type fonts. You will probably take hours looking at all of these, but let's just pick the very top one because that's easy. So it's called Sweets Smile, and you simply click download, and it's free for personal use. Here's another one that we could download. It's called Young Money. It's quite fancy, and they are downloading into my downloads file. So I can come out of the internet now. Okay, so I'm off the internet and I'm in my downloads, and I can see a zipped folder called Young Money and Sweets Smile, which were both on the Dafont website. So you can see the zipped folders, Young Money and Sweets Smile. You've got your open type font file here. what it looks like in all sorts of different sizes when you click on it. So if you just put install, this is installing the font as one of your font choices into the computer. It'll just stay there. Go back into Art and Stitch to see if we can find it. So here's text. That's hello, and it was in roundo. There's Young Money. It's quite a nice one. Let's see if we can find the other one. There it is, Sweets Smile. So these fun fonts, which you can play with, are also now in your computer for you to just type with if you wish. So very easy to do, and the choices are endless. So have fun with it. So as I said before, that's not the only way of doing lettering. It's just some of the ways that I have found work for me. When you look close up at the stitching on the quilt, sometimes you might be a little irritated by backtracking or jump stitches. It's up to you to put in the practice and see how good you can get. I hope I've just given you a few little pointers to get going. Thanks for watching.